The Flintlock Blast.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the brand new For Liberty Network. Today's an exciting day, Freedom Family Friday. We've got a prize giveaway to do today for all of our special friends. The specialist of friends joins us on set, Stephanie, my best friend. I love you, Stephanie.
Hello. I love you. Glad to be here.
Smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wifey. You look so pretty in pink. Nice to see you, babe.
Thank you. We got some good rest last night. I think we hit a milestone. Hazel actually slept through the entire night. And by that, we mean about 10 o'clock to about 4 a.m. But we wake up at 4 a.m., so that's no problem.
It worked out perfectly. Hey,
yes.
Blutreich getting that donation train started.
Already?
Dropping it in the tip jar.
No
Dala
way.
makes me holla. Our lightsaber's sharp, he asks. Welcome to the show, Blutreich.
Lightsabers, are they sharp? Have you ever had one?
Yeah.
Oh, is it sharp?
It is sharp, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
sharp,
funny.
yes.
So you could really hurt someone?
Yeah, you could really, with a real lightsaber.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone's ever been murdered by a lightsaber before. That would be interesting.
Murdered by a lightsaber. Now, that would be an interesting way to die. I had to turn on the sound effects for that, so there was no underlying sound. We were able to hear the rock and roll. That's okay. It gave us the energy we needed, but I turned the sound effects on.
Yes.
Hold on. You know what sound effect you need to push whenever something like that happens? Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. It's Freedom Family Friday, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Justin Peterson is not here today.
Oh, God!
I know. That's sad.
Please,
sad.
no.
Yeah. We've already cried a lot of tears.
But we found a suitable replacement.
We did. We have so many special people in our lives, so
yeah, and
it's pretty cool to find other people to fill in.
And I'm glad that we get to introduce him to you. He will be joining us today. He was a big supporter of my 2018 Senate campaign.
Oh yeah,
we've been friends ever since here in Missouri. He's a co-owner of a chain of restaurants here in Missouri that if you're familiar with anything around St. Louis area, he's basically got like the best steakhouse.
Oh yeah,
rated as the best steakhouse in St. Louis area. There's like 4 or 5 of them. If any of you have ever heard of Tucker's Steakhouse, if you've ever been lucky enough to eat at a Tucker's Steakhouse.
he said they're also known for their pizza.
Pizza is like, well, there's the St. Louis pizza, which is they use Provel.
Oh yes,
which
yes.
I'm kind of like,
No, God!
I think his pizza was good though. I remember tasting it.
I'm not anti-Provel because God knows you'll never get elected statewide in this state if you don't. But if you,
I love Provel. Vote for me.
I love it. And the Royals and the Cardinals are both really good, you know?
Sounds like something Kamala Harris would say when she comes to Missouri.
Yes.
She'd be like, I really love these sports teams.
Man, we need to go over and watch a Kansas City Chiefs game.
It's like whenever a band goes to a concert, in each state, they always try to say something about the state that they're in. So they'll be like, I love Jefferson City. It is so much fun, even though they have never explored that area. But then the crowd goes wild. And they're like, yeah, they know everything about my state.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was funny that Kamala Harris went from being the most unpopular vice president in U.S. history to suddenly the Democrats were like, she's a genius, she's girl boss, she's brat, right? It's so funny how that switcheroo happened. You know what I mean?
I still think she's gonna win.
Oh, Stephanie, stop it!
I just have this feeling in my core. I'm
Don't
sorry.
you put that evil on me. Stephanie Renee Peterson.
I'm putting out the bad juju.
Don't you do that here. We're going to be a white-pilled show. Donald Trump is going to become president of the United States. Vivek Ramaswamy, Javier Milei, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, all working together in the Trump administration.
That's right.
That's how it's going to be, right? That's right. That's how it's going to be.
Yes.
Dad Bod Baboon in here with the spice says, bite your tongue, you soulless ginger.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow. Can't I have an opinion?
Yeah, we got too much riding on Donald Trump winning president of the United States next year, and especially for the simple fact that if Donald Trump doesn't win, we can expect 4 more years of whoever's controlling the strings behind this guy. Same people telling Kamala Harris what to do. Take a listen.
I taught constitutional law for years, constitutional law. Never was the Second Amendment meant to be absolute. Back when it was passed, you could not own a cannon. No, I'm not joking. People like the liberty of Americans is water with the blood of patriots. Like hell. I'm serious. Think about it. Think about it. It was never absolute. Never, 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 never. It's time we increase funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Wait a second.
He's shitting all over the founding fathers.
A George Washington quote about renewing the tree with the blood of tears.
That might be Thomas Paine. Hold on.
Okay. I know that's a famous quote with the whole blood.
It may be
thing.
Thomas Jefferson. Yeah. In a letter dated November 13th, 1787, to William Stephen Smith, the son-in-law of John Adams, Thomas Jefferson used the phrase "Tree of Liberty." So it was in 1787 to the son-in-law of John Adams. Oh. Jefferson says, use that phrase, "Tree of Liberty."
Okay.
Liberty. Hold on.
I just love how Biden's like, I studied constitutional law. Really? What do you know about the Constitution?
Jefferson wanted a rebellion every 20 years.
Oh, yes. There's the specific quote that says, like, you have to, it's something about the tree of liberty.
Yeah,
and then with the blood of, it's something with blood in the tree. I know that's a quote.
Here's what Thomas Jefferson. Can I just read the quote, right? Because it's so good. It's very long, but let me trim it down here. He says, God forbid we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. The people cannot all be all and always well informed. Good point. The part which is wrong will be discontented in proportion to the importance of the facts they misconceive. Boy, this is like modern age. He called it. If they remain quiet under such misconceptions, it is a lethargy, the forerunner of death to the public liberty. We have had 13 states independent 11 years. There has been one rebellion. That comes to one rebellion in a century and a half for each state. What country before ever existed a century and a half without a rebellion? And what country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Yep. Let them take arms. The remedy is to set them right as to facts, pardon, and pacify them. What signify a few lives lost in a century or two? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Amen. That's the one.
It is its natural manure. It is its natural manure. Wow, this is heavy stuff to start the show.
I love when you read Founding Father quotes. I feel like we should just do a show where we're like reading Founding Father excerpts. It's just like ASMR for me. Yeah. It makes me feel so happy and free.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what Kamala Harris is saying in regards to the Second Amendment. She's kind of been all over the place on this. Let's hear how the next president of the United States, you think.
Well, she has a gun.
Well, apparently.
Yes.
Right. But here's what she has to say about the absoluteness of the Second Amendment. Take a listen.
It is a false choice to suggest you are either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I am in favor of the Second Amendment, and I believe we need to reinstate the assault weapons ban. It is a false...
Wait, what? What?
That is like talking.
How do you believe in the Second Amendment, but you take guns away? How
you got to take guns away, and you say Second Amendment.
What does it even mean? What she just said?
I mean, listen.
A false something or another.
We're going to retread common ground for right wingers and conservatives and libertarians when we talk about this subject, but it bears repeating for people who in the back either haven't heard these arguments or what have you. Right? It bears repeating. So. An assault rifle, from a technical question, assault weapon is nothing. There is no such thing as an assault weapon. If I take this little fan that I use to keep myself cool, if I beat you over the head with it, that's an assault weapon. AR
does not even stand for assault rifle.
No, it doesn't stand for assault rifle, but the retarded leftists think that it does.
Right.
It's not. AR stands for Armalite, which is the company that manufactured Eugene Stoner's initial M16 design, which was then converted to a civilian version, which is the AR-15, the semi-automatic weapon. Unfortunately, thanks to Ronald Reagan, assault rifles, meaning fully automatic, or they call it select fire in the industry, select fire weapons have been banned new ones have been banned since 1986. Now, my little hobby,
Who
when
coined the term assault rifle? Who do you think brought that up first?
it came about in Vietnam. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Assault rifle came out with the Hitler.
He said assault rifle?
Yeah. So the
Sturmgewehr?
Yeah, Stephanie. Yeah. Listen, do you guys have a wife that knows that Hitler invented the assault rifle? So he actually did not invent it. The funny story about the Sturmgewehr, the STG-44, Sturmgewehr, yeah.
What to say?
It is fun. Sturmgewehr, storm rifle, right? Storm weapon is what it means. Well, storm rifle, yeah, but Waffen is weapon. But Hitler had to do it in secret because Hitler did not want a intermediate cartridge select fire rifle to be created because he thought what would win the war were wonder weapons like the V2 rockets and
cannons.
Cannons, sorry, exactly. The cannons that Joe Biden won't let us have.
Right.
Big Bertha.
The founding fathers can't have them. Nobody can.
They came up with a concept for a tank, Stephanie, called Maus, the Maus tank, MAUS.
Oh, the Germans had amazing tanks.
But they did, but they couldn't provide them in a sufficient enough number. The American tanks were like medium to light tanks. They were not so great against German tanks, but it didn't matter because we would just create swarms of them. And that was the thing, was that the assembly line and Ford were at their peak, American manufacturing. They couldn't out-manufacture us. But the Sturmgewehr rifle came about in secret because Hitler didn't care about the frontline soldier. He cared about the secret weapons, the wonder weapons, and nuclear weapons. We luckily stopped him from doing that. But they created it in secret as some other kind of weapon project. And then they brought it out onto the battlefield, and they were slaying Russians left and right at that thing at Stalingrad. The STG-44, some of them made.
What's your favorite gun?
It's the one. If I could have a select fire rifle, just one, that would be the one that I want. You can buy like ones that have been destroyed that are still look good, but you can't use them for like $7,000.
Oh, I was going to say, I can get you one.
Stephanie.
Anniversary's coming up.
No. If the Wake Up America show and the For Liberty Network ever get really big, then I'll let you do.
So I can buy Austin a gift for our anniversary.
Yeah, and there's a big gap between. It costs $30,000 for a real one, and that's what I want. And let's just get so rich, Stephanie, off of podcasting that you can just buy me one day. I'll come home and you'll have done all the paperwork. And it'll be, there it is, my STG-44 ready to rock, my assault rifle, Sturmgewehr. It's just funny we're talking about this because it was only like 2 or 3 days ago where I was like going through gunbroker.com and they have a section for before 1986, you could buy assault rifles, and those have all been grandfathered in.
Right. Yes.
So the law that Reagan signed just made it so that I can't go buy a beautiful new Heckler & Koch HK, MP5 9mm full auto.
You can buy the relics.
Yeah, they had an MP5 that was available that you could buy that's full auto, but it's it's a pre-1986. I also want a Steyr AUG, and I have a wish list.
The broom handle gun.
No, the Maus. That's the German Luger.
Yeah,
with the broom handle pistol attachment. That's on my list one day. Anyways, I need a lot of guns, so I need Kamala Harris to not be the president of the United States.
Kamala Harris says she believes in the Second Amendment, but she also believes that she should do a buyback program for AR-15. So in a Venn diagram or whatever, how can both of those things exist at once? They can't.
Yes.
They're separate.
It's so anyways, they don't. Assault rifles are already in theory banned. You can buy automatic weapons. So if we had the money, we could go fill out the license, get a full automatic rifle. You can only buy brand new automatic rifles if you are a gun manufacturer. So
what AR is she referring to? Is she referring to AR-15s, just general ones where? I'm
glad you asked.
Or is that automatic?
No. They want to ban semi-automatic rifles.
Okay.
That's what they want. They want to make it so that the only rifles that American civilians can own are bolt-action hunting rifles. Boom.
Oh, right, because that's for hunting. AR-15s are not for hunting.
Well, they're for hunting pigs. You ever seen hog choppers?
Yes.
Wee, wee, wee. They're chasing the piggies.
Well, it's always the joke. Everybody's always like, I like to use my AR-15 for hunting. And then people are like, no, you don't. Nobody hunts with AR-15.
Of course they do. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Stephanie. And you're asking all the right questions. They want to ban semi-automatic weapons that look like AR-15s, and they will start with guns that just look. It's all about, does the gun look scary, and does the bureaucrat think it looks scary? And if the bureaucrat thinks it looks scary, then it's not okay. So like the AR-15, for example, has an equivalent that has a wood stock that looks like just any other rifle, fires the exact same bullet, performs the exact same function. It's like a Ruger Ranch Rifle 223 or something like that, and it literally is like an AR-15, except for the fact that it doesn't have like all the scary black attachments and tactical stuff that you see.
Right.
That
we need to get one of those.
No.
And then we'll be safe.
No, because I already have us covered with all of my scary black rifles that I ain't giving up, damn it.
Right.
And that's, it's at the bottom, an unfortunate boating accident. And
They're going to come door to door.
I don't think so, Stephanie.
Take it out of my cold, dead hands.
Yes. Well, I'm going to come door to door.
Can you bless me with
if you
something?
don't bless me with something.
Oh, gosh. Money-wise.
Oh.
Please.
Can you suck it?
What?
So
that's a Kamala Harris joke right there.
There you go.
She's going to come door to door. Can you bless me with something?
Can you suck
And then when they say, can you suck it? She'll be like, oh, yes, actually, I can. I have before.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
That's what she used to say to the politicians that she used to service so she could get ahead in politics.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like, do not come.
How dare you?
Show us the baby, says Nelson65. Thank you. That's what I was working my way towards.
Oh, we can't yet.
And I'm working my way back.
She's got her little baby cam facing
with a
her.
burning love inside. If you'd like to see the baby cam today, we got to hit the $100 mark for the bonus baby. And the content is at the $60 level. So once we hit $60 raised by the end of the show, you will be able to see the bonus content. Today's is really great. And then once we hit $100, if we hit $100 by the end of the show, and so far we've done it every Friday, then we will unlock the bonus baby. And that's when we turn on the baby cam and you get to see baby Hazel with her little cuteness, right, in her red head. So get those Rumble Rant donations, guys, in. Quest Fanning gave a $2 blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Quest.
Appreciate your Quest. And we also had Nelson
became a subscriber, too.
He became a $17.76 a month Patriot. And honestly, if today's payday, and if you can spare it and you want to help us to build the For Liberty Network, then today's a great day to become a Peterson's Patriot supporter and donate $17.76 a month. You get entered into prize drawings like the one we're going to do at the end of the show today for people who are monthly subscribers. You get a 20% discount at forlibertyshop.com, and you get on the Peterson family Christmas card list, right?
We'll be putting those together literally in a month from now. It's coming very close. We have to take our family photo.
Well, we will. We're going to take it with a brand new studio camera that we got thanks to the donations and support of our viewers and listeners. Thank you, guys. How do you become a $17.76 a month subscriber? You go to wakeupamericashow.com/support. But if you just go to wakeupamericashow.com, the support button is right at the top of the page or in the little hamburger menu. You know, you click on it and open it up, go to support, become a $17.76 a month, or just $5 a month is great as well. If you're a monthly supporter here on rumble.com, that's a great way to do it too. Thank you to Robbie Theriman. Bring on the mini ginger. Drops $10 to the tip jar. Robbie does everything for us. He gets coffee delivered to his front door from forlibertyshop.com. And we've got an exciting new coffee announcement coming soon.
I'm excited. Yes, you
We've
told
got a
me
new
about this
coffee
yesterday.
announcement, guys. That's coming next week. And you know what else is coming next week? We got a lot of big announcements.
The shows.
The shows. For Liberty Network's new shows. We now know what the days will be. We will release that information on Monday. So we've got prizes. We've got giveaways. We've got discounts. We've got Christmas cards. We've got new shows. We've got babies. We've got bonus content. How much harder could I be working to try and succeed in podcasting?
Yay! 4LN. I like calling it 4LN.
4LN. I think that's good.
Network.
For Liberty Network. That's great.
And
we woke up the child.
Oh my goodness.
Little one here is starting to stir. She's like, did someone say For Liberty?
Are you kidding me?
No, she got her eyes wide open. I'm looking.
I try so hard to feed her before the show.
She'll go back to sleep. She just hears mommy and daddy's voices being a little too loud. Okay, let's quiet down.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Lights out. We need to make it nice and
We've got a lot more clips to go. So Kamala Harris, she said that she does want to ban assault weapons, whatever that term means. We just went through that. But she also has said that she does believe in the Second Amendment. But that's interesting because she said she does believe in the Second Amendment, at least to some extent. But then she did say this before. Take a listen.
Adding to your gun control agenda?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said, my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
Adding to your gun control agenda?
They don't. I love how she says they don't have the courage to act. Maybe they just don't agree with you, Kamala. Did you ever think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have courage to not agree with you.
Yeah, they have the courage to say no to you, to defy you, to not do what you say.
Executive action, is that legal? Can she do this for guns? For a Second Amendment?
Depends on who you ask. The sad, unfortunate answer is yes, she can do it if nobody stops her. Yeah, because that's how
Who
government
can stop her?
Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, can anyone in Congress stop her? Like, is there some sort of process that we can go through to like, stop her from having these powers?
In theory, yes. In reality, no.
Oh my God.
There is the president at this point has become an imperial presidency, and therefore they can justify doing whatever they want and just point at some statute from, well, this was such and such Volstead Act of 1913 gives me this authority, blah, blah, blah. And would they say it's not absolute? Well, it's because we have allowed the Second Amendment to be eroded. We have allowed them to create these laws and put these laws on the books. And there's a long line of collaborationist Republicans who have helped the Democrats succeed. And so when it comes to the question, though, of is the Second Amendment absolute, you're damn right it is.
I find it hard to believe that the Founding Fathers couldn't have cannons back in the day.
Oh, no, that's another lie, actually. Absolutely, you could have cannons. Here's the thing. When the American Revolution kicked off, we didn't have a navy to speak of, right?
Okay.
The British Navy, most powerful navy in the world. The British Empire, the late 1700s, you did not want to tangle with the British Navy. And what did George Washington and Thomas Jefferson do? And all the boys.
The Barbary Pirates.
Well, they fought after we had beaten the after we beat the British, right? After we had established the nation, we fought the Barbary Pirates. But what did they do to fight the British Navy on the sea if they didn't have any boats? What did they do, Stephanie? Take a guess. Remember when Austin ran for president and Senate? He was talking about hiring people who would go out and issue a letter of
Marks and what is it? Marks and Reprisal? No, Marks.
Yes,
It's a Marks
Mark and Reprisal,
yes,
Stephanie. That's
right.
great. They used to say you were a marked man. That meant you had a price on your head. So George Washington and the Continental Congress, what did they do? They didn't have enough boats. They hired mercenaries. They hired privateers, they called them, and they would give them bounties to go out and to fight the British on the high seas. So Americans,
we privatized the
cannons
Navy
in private hands.
Oh, that's so cool.
The Peterson family knows their history, okay? The Peterson family, between Stephanie and I, we would kill it on American history on any Jeopardy game that you might see.
Well, you've taught me all that I know, so your brain is
that is
much,
a lie
much
from the
better.
pit of hell, Stephanie, because you were reading Human Action.
I did read Human Action.
You were reading Ludwig von Mises.
I read The Road to Serfdom.
That's right. Yeah. Frankenbeans this morning says, never put passion before principle. Even if you win, you lose. There you go. That's almost a little Mr. Miyagi there, kind of, because Mr. Miyagi said,
even if win, you lose.
That's right. Mr. Miyagi.
I didn't know you had that sound effect.
Yes.
Wax on, wax off.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
There you go. Sensei, you know what I'm going to be?
You are a sensei. Hazel and I were watching you this week.
Yes, but on the show, I'm going to be...
Good evening, class. I will be your fart sensei.
What show is that?
I have no idea.
That's so funny.
When I looked up sensei sound effects for my board, I just saw fart sensei, so I was like, that sounds funny, and it just goes like this.
Good evening, class. I will be your fart sensei.
I have that, and then I have...
Rule number 1. A man can't stand. He can't fight.
A man can't stand, he can't fight. And of course, once we get into the bow to your sensei...
Bow to your sensei!
We have to go into. We're always having a lot of fun on the Wake Up America show. We still got lots more to go. Neil Struharic will be joining us live at 8 a.m. Central Time. Talk about Mark Cuban. You and your mom, both Mark Cuban fans. When mom comes visit, we watch
Shark Tank.
We watch Shark Tank together, and we talk about all the businesses we would start if we could get on Shark Tank. But Mark Cuban, and one of the reasons your mom might like him is because he's a lefty Democrat. Unfortunately. And he used to love Elon Musk. Now he hates Elon Musk. He came out and said that the media is right wing.
Maybe Fox News is, but no other
Mainstream
media
leans right. I mean, if you're like a far right communist, I could see an argument from that point, right? You could say that, but I mean, I don't think Mark Cuban's a far left communist, so a little confused by some of his actions and statements. We're gonna talk about that when Neil comes on at 8 a.m. So make sure you keep getting those Rumble Rant donations in, guys, and go to forlibertyshop.com. Get yourself some Founding Flavors coffee. Help to unlock the bonus content. We got to get that $60 mark to unlock the bonus content. If we hit 100 by the end of the show, then you get the bonus baby cam. There we go. Let's keep it going. Hey, did you see this video of the Haitian politician who spoke at the United Nations and decided to take a drink of water, but he seemed to struggle a little bit? Yes, take a look. What the?
I mean,
okay, so
it's a really awkward drinking cup in general. It's huge.
Okay, so it's not a drinking cup, Stephanie. This is why. Here's how I found out about this.
It's a beer stein.
Okay, so this is why this is funny. So you know how I drink from a cup like that? I drink from a giant.
You drink from like beer steins.
I drink from
you drink water from beer steins. Yeah,
I drink beer from beer steins too. But I drink. I was drinking during my meeting with the Liberty Tonight guys yesterday during our meeting, and I took a big swig of water from my clear stein.
Right.
He's not drinking from a stein. He's drinking, and my stein isn't even that big. That is a gigantic pitcher of water.
Oh,
that he has.
He didn't put it in a glass.
Right.
He's drinking from the pitcher and not the cup.
Correct, Stephanie. You're supposed to.
It's so sad. He doesn't know. He probably is used to drinking from like the water. You know, like seawater.
Oh my God, Stephanie, no.
And he probably just drinks directly from the body of water. He doesn't even use a cup. Oh, that's so terrible. See, again, cultural relativism.
I love my wife. On one side of things, she will like bust out Ludwig von Mises and a Thomas Jefferson quote and know about the Constitution. And then on the other hand, on things like this, she'll see something like this and be like, oh, it's because the Haitian diplomat.
Right, he doesn't know any better.
Doesn't know any better, but I mean,
where's the cup? Is there a cup sitting on the table? Maybe they just didn't give it to him.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Floby Tenderson says that's the racism I'm here for.
Cultural relativism is racism.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure that in Haiti the diplomat drinks from cups. Like I'm sure that he doesn't drink from the water, from the poop water like the rest of the Haitians do in the country. But I mean, it's a giant pitcher, right? You pour the pitcher of water into.
That's so sad. How embarrassing.
Sign of Jonah says he's used to drinking from the skull of a cat.
Well, yes.
That dude is showing he's an alpha male by straight up drinking from the pitcher, says Drew Van Winkle.
Exactly. I mean, that's like Viking style right there.
Yes, that is Viking style right there. Oh, but like the honest, you know what's funny about that is that we're all supposed to be clowning him, but I can't tell you how many times I've had my giant stein of water and it's been like off balance, and I'm just like, bleh, and I pour it all over myself because it's huge.
Oh, you know, you need to give him a straw. Poor guy.
And then if you actually go to Oktoberfest this year, we're going this year in Herman. Then once you've had about 2 of those giant steins full of beer, by the time you get to that third stein of beer, you're like all of your steins of beer are doing that.
Probably straight up vodka in that pitcher right there. He's probably just drinking vodka, that man.
Steffi's on a list now, says Robbie Thurman. Yes, good morning. Floby Tenderson backwashing from patient zero. Boy, you guys.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh, the coconut trees.
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Okay, I can first.
Oh, goodness.
Little kids were asked about what they thought of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Take a listen.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris?
Liar.
What's the first?
Oh my God. That child's parents must be Trump supporters. What does that kid look like? Is that like a white child who looks like really rich?
He looks like, he'd be like a little Adolf Hitler.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just
He
kidding.
looks like the kid from Sixth Sense.
I'm just kidding. If you don't know who we are, like we make a little Hitler reference, we're not serious. We're just kidding, right? It's just
Wait. Okay, let's play that game. What's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of Kamala Harris?
Liar.
Oh, that's the first. I'm trying to think what the first word is.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, well, I'm just doing improv. The first thing that came to my mind was a black woman.
Oh my God. Okay, it's time to move on. You're on strike 2 for racism this morning. Here we go.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris?
Liar.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear Donald Trump?
Pure evil.
Which one do you think is more selfish?
Like selfish? Probably her.
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, because girls are a little bit dramatic sometimes.
Oh, she's very insightful, this kid.
And black people steal.
Oh my goodness.
Strike 3!
Wow.
You're out.
That
Donald
girl
Trump.
is going to be a good wife one day.
Mm-hmm.
He's given his life and his heart. She even shook hands with Mr. Trump to greet him before the started the debate, which is pretty kind of when you're going against your opponent.
What's the first word that pops
Hold on, let's hear the bass kid again.
into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris?
Liar.
What's the first word?
Oh my gosh.
Love it. Our kids aren't indoctrinated. Yours are.
I would not want to be a school teacher teaching political science.
No.
I can't even imagine what the children are saying in the classrooms.
No, it's got to be rough. It's got to be rough. Yeah.
I don't think I knew anything about politics when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I had no opinions on any of it.
Yeah, I think our buddy Frickety, by the way, speaking of politics and being at school, I think my buddy Frickety said that his kid went to either it was Frickety or Floby Tenderson, who said that his kid went to school wearing our Make America Goth Again tee right there.
Well, that's awesome. I could see that working. I don't think that would be too controversial.
No. So our Make America Goth Again tee over at forlibertyshop.com. It's kind of like the Halloween shirt this year of our new kind of hit, as well as our standard hit, which everybody loves, the No Lives Matter Halloween tee, Michael Myers. Everybody loves that.
Yeah, you wear that year round.
People just freaking love that shirt. I think that this is a scary Halloween costume if you showed up with a t-shirt with the scary word government on it. You know what I'm saying? Because
imagine going to a haunted house and having someone wearing that shirt. I think I would scream bloody murder.
Absolutely. And then we've also got the scary taxes tee, right? With taxes bleeding down.
Right.
But I love your bag that you designed, the candy tax collector bag.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was very happy with that bag.
It's a good price.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you're going trick-or-treating with your kids, you can make it a joke and be like, I'm the candy tax collector.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people will give you candy.
Of course. Head over to For Liberty Shop, or you can carry your kids' candy for them. You go to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. Help unlock the bonus content today. Every purchase that you make at forlibertyshop.com helps to unlock the bonus content, and that helps us to fund the Wake Up America show's new network, For Liberty Network. We've invested a lot of money and time and energy, and I'm busting my butt late nights putting together everything so that you can have an incredible experience. The 2 new shows launch date will be announced this coming Monday. And if you're a monthly contributor to the Wake Up America show, thank you. And if you were a monthly contributor and it's lapsed, today's a good day to re-up so that you can go ahead and get re-entered into the prize drawing that we'll do at the end of the show. And you get that 20% discount over at forlibertyshop.com. Once we hit the $60 amount, whether it's through Rumble Rants or a combination of that and purchases at the shop, that will unlock the bonus content for today. Great. Are you enjoying the show? Are we having fun?
I'm having fun.
I think it's fun content, right? You get a little bit, you get the news.
Yes.
We talk about the news.
We're learning about cultures.
We have some big brain stuff, and then we have, like jokes like this.
Good evening, class.
Yes, I will be your fart sensei.
Right? So it's a fun show. It's a great way to start your day.
Very lighthearted.
Right. So Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they're obviously the kids. Got to take the screen down. Obviously, those kids are, a little young. Who cares what kids think about politics? But I am laughing, however, at this BuzzFeed article about the circus that is American politics. Now, we all know BuzzFeed leans left.
I love BuzzFeed, though.
I know you do. But I have here 50 funny election-related tweets that will probably not get to all of them before Neil Struharic joins us live at 8 a.m. Central Time. We're going to talk to him about Mark Cuban and his comments about Elon Musk and the fact that apparently he thinks that the mainstream media is right-wing, which is...
I don't know what shows he watches. Maybe he watches Shark Tank. That's kind of right-wing, very business-minded.
Quest Fanning talking about kids in politics says, Kate says she and her cousin were very into politics as kids. 2 years ago, cousin Alex actually ran for state assembly for a district in Detroit. Interesting.
How cool.
Frank and Beans says, you're the best around.
Yeah.
And donates $20.
Makes me want to do my punches.
That's right. Do your karate punches for us, baby. All right, let's see where we're at right now. 24, 34, 8. We're at $50.
Already?
There's a $60 goal. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's really awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, just 10 more bucks and we'll unlock the bonus content. Then 40 more after that. We'll unlock the bonus, baby. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I do remember in 7th grade, I did have to do debates in my class, and I debated with somebody on the death penalty. And I remember I was against it. So I know that we did start debating on certain issues, but I don't remember talking about presidential candidates very much.
No, I think I did when I was in middle school. I mean, I was always interested in history. So history, a lot of it is politics. So in terms of my, political interests and things like that, I always kind of lean right. I varied from, hard right to, I went through after 9/11, I think I went through a brief neocon phase for a few years. And then after that, I read Ayn Rand and was kind of like an objectivist and a capitalist. And then from there, Ron Paul in 2008 and everything's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, 9/11 definitely impacted me, more so in terms of fears. I remember I used to be very paranoid in movie theaters and on airplanes. I would constantly be checking around me. And unfortunately, I became somewhat of a racial profiler. When I would see somebody who kind of looked like a terrorist, I would get very nervous.
Yep. L Dubs dropped $20 in, says you're the best around.
Oh, thank you.
Unlock the bonus content.
Oh my goodness. That was easy.
You know what's funny? I'll tell a little behind the scenes stuff for those who care.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of the bonus content came out of a buddy of mine, Jack Stalker, who said, hey, Austin, what you should do is you should have a sound effect where when people do bonuses, you hit the button and then it plays a sound effect and like an eagle flies across the screen.
Right.
Which is a cool idea. But that idea I took and I was like, well, what if I actually offer them content for their donations.
It has value.
It has value and it offers them something interesting, tells them a new story. We use AI to construct the stuff, obviously, but it helps us to be able to produce something new every day. And I mean, this has been huge for us, right? It's really changed how we've been able to reinvest back into the network. The bonus content has been huge. And so, when L-Dubs and Frankenbeans and Quest and everybody are making these Rumble Rant donations, especially little ones, they add up. And, and I was able to pay because these cameras are expensive, man.
You're still paying off your camera.
Still paying off the camera, yeah. So, but when we get those Rumble Rants and we do the bonus content, everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. And we give a little back, right, with some free merch that we give away each month too. But the Wake Up America show, 2 years now running. I am so proud of where we're at and thankful. Stephanie has been my right-hand woman doing merchandise creating merch. We've got our buddy who shall not be named, who is our new employee, who has just been stellar at doing a lot of the marketing stuff. That's like, send this list to text message and this list to email and this blah, blah, blah. Right.
That's how we all have our strengths.
Yes.
And it's the division of labor. We're all doing the things that we're good at.
Yeah.
In this business.
Right. And I'm, now I'm an executive producer. I'm a creative director. I'm writing, I'm producing my own show, and now I'm producing 2 more. I mean, how much more could I possibly accomplish with more financial means?
So many talents.
I just said the other day, and I was like, the one thing that is the only thing that's holding me back is being rich, like a lot of people, but the creative, productive capacity that I have, if it was fully monetized, would be wild, right? I'm hoping to get there. I'm working to get there, right?
I mean, you were quite the videographer, and so I could see you making movies. I think you'd be really good at that.
That's what I'm working towards. I mean, if you in your lifetime would like to see a movie, an action film about Lysander Spooner and his life, I've got that ready to go, but I need a few mil. And if you in your life would like to see a series of documentaries about Ludwig von Mises' escape from the Nazis of Austria, coming to the United States.
Oh, wow.
If you'd like to see that film, then make a Rumble Rant donation, right? So think about that when you are opening your wallet, that what's happening here on the Wake Up America show is a growing, blooming industry that it's for you, it's fun, it's little rants. But like Stephanie and I, we're a man and a woman on a mission. And we take time to smell the flowers. We watch scuba diving videos with our daughter at night. We have normal hobbies and we do normal things as people. And sometimes we even take vacations. But otherwise, we're busting our ass to try and spread the ideas. As you can see, we are sincere believers in the principles of liberty. My wife, quoting Thomas Jefferson earlier, our vacation idea is to go to Monticello and make out together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, Monticello was my dream. And you made that come true right before Hazel came.
Yeah.
Because I never thought I would get there. For some reason, I thought once we had Hazel, all my dreams would be shattered.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to go.
Yeah. L-Dub says Daniela's new camera is really good. And the production quality is what kept me watching, says Sign of Jonah. Yeah.
Oh,
because
wow.
I just, you know what I said? I say, we got to be the best. We got to be the best around, baby.
Right.
We got to be the absolute best.
That is the discouraging thing for me, is there are some people on YouTube and on social media that have the crappiest cameras, the crappiest microphones, but they have millions of views. And I'm just like,
it's the content. It's
like people like us, we try so hard.
There's a variety of factors. Depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the most competitive niche right here. You know what I mean? News and politics. I mean, I'm competing with the best in the world. I'm competing with the biggest name. I'm competing with people like Russell Brand, who like literally was a Hollywood movie star.
Right.
And so it's kind of like you have to be careful. And then remember, I am number 1 on X. Over the last 3 weeks, we've hit number 1, right? I say we number 1 on X. So they have millions of dollars and they have celebrities, and many of them, we're still beating them over here because of what we're able to accomplish.
That's right. That's true.
Sticks and Hammer, God bless his heart, has 1 camera and broadcasts from his living room recliner. See, there you go. And he gets a huge audience. So it is possible.
Oh, Sticks.
Sticks and Hammer.
I used to watch Sticks. Is he the 666 guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched him back in like 2016.
And then Joe Rogan, he did something where he, when he moved to Texas, I think he did his podcast set up to make it look like the inside of a spaceship instead of his normal brick wall hangout.
That's cool.
He hated it so much that they completely redid it back to what it was.
Oh my
you know what I mean? And like for us, we were in the beer hall, right? We were in the beer stein. I was like sitting in the bar in the mornings with people passed out in their own puke.
Literally.
Other things that we cannot mention that were on the floor that you see, things like that. So it's like, now we needed a little upgrade, and I think that the Wake Up America show really works well in a studio environment.
Yes.
Just kind of gives it that glitz,
and it's nice and warm in here. That's why I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Blue Trike's talking about the ballot documentary. Yes, I have that. It's
Battle of Athens.
Yeah, it's basically half done.
We did go to Tennessee. We filmed a lot of footage,
the documentary,
including drone footage.
Yes,
so we have it all.
So at this point, like, my very first full-length documentary, I don't want to release it without like it being great.
Yeah.
And right now, like I can produce what I have right now with the footage and it's just talking heads, but I think it deserves like a recreation of the Battle of Athens. And the interviews that I have can be seen anytime. It's evergreen. So I need money, or I need an AI platform, video platform that is so good that I can recreate scenes from the 1940s, very specific scenes, recreate them, and do it there, right? So I either
Because
need
the thing is, we would basically have to get permission. We actually talked to the mayor of our city here to see how we can get permission to literally have people holding guns walking down the street of Jefferson City, pretending as if they're back in the Battle of Athens days.
I've done location shoots like that.
Right.
I have no problem. We know the mayor and all the city people, so it's no problem. We can do all that. But what we need is we need to be able to fire those guns, and we need to be able to fire them at targets and have it appear as if there's a battle.
Right.
And if we can get the money for that, or if like OpenAI's new Sora project is what they say it is.
Yeah.
And right now I'm playing with those tools, but they're not good enough. And I really don't want my first full-length documentary to have the kind of jankiness that you get.
Right. You don't want like a person with 10 fingers on one hand.
Exactly.
And like no eyes.
You have to edit all that kind of stuff. It actually take you longer to edit something like that to fix it than to shoot it right the first time.
Right.
So that's where that is at right now. So we'll see within the next 6 months to a year, depending on what happens with AI and how much money we make. Let's say if Daniela's new show's a hit, and if Liberty Tonight's is a hit, and the finances come in and we can reinvest in that, we will do that. Until then, no, we need a sugar daddy to really do it right. But once we get to that next level where we're doing film and documentaries, you'll see the Battle of Athens documentary, and you'll see a hell of a lot more Mises and Hayek and Rothbard. And I'm the best person to tell those stories. But I don't have financier funding $1 million people behind me like Alex Jones does, for example. So his dad's really rich. And
Alex Jones's dad is rich?
Yeah, Alex Jones always had a leg up from the fact that his father is extremely wealthy. And he also had this kind of mysterious multi-millionaire guy that is the head of this communications group behind him. So he's always had funders.
So it's not Russia that's funding him?
No, well, no.
He seems like he would be into that stuff.
But like a lot of these people that are huge on social media, they didn't, the talent absolutely is a role. I'm not saying that it's not, but I am saying too that like a lot of these people, the only reason they're big is because they have money. They're rich. They can spend thousands of dollars on advertising, whereas I have a $200 advertising budget a month, and I have to use that very strategically.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it goes back to what my supervisor told me years ago when I was looking for a job, and this applies to business as well, is that 90% of the opportunities you get are because you have connections. And so it's all about networking, and just who you know, and that's the sad truth, and it's very discouraging for people who don't know people.
It is, but I would rather be in our position right now than Alex Jones's position.
Oh goodness, yes, our life would be destroyed.
yeah, it would be very sad.
Yeah,
very sad. But my dream is that, Stephanie, one day we might move to Stonegate Farm and Nursery in Peculiar, Missouri, and we renovate the old farmhouse, and we renovate the old office, and we turn the office on the farm into a high quality, high definition production studio, similar to this. And then we hire staff to help us with our productions. And we just basically create a little cultural renaissance out in the country of American values advancing movies, documentaries, live shows, podcasts, content, a content farm for liberty.
Yeah. A content farm. Oh, that's
in
so
Peculiar,
cute.
Missouri.
I picture like chickens walking around and, little goats and stuff.
Yes.
Walking outside the window of the studio.
So that's what your money is going to work to build, right? It's not squandered because at a minimum, if any of it goes to personal use, that's going into that little baby's mouth for the milkies.
Yes. Oh yeah, so she's already in pretty much size 2 diapers at this point, so we have to keep buying more.
Yep. So thank you for supporting our Freedom family and helping us to build the For Liberty network. We're bootstrapping it like good old American way, as true entrepreneurs from the ground up. We live or die based on the support and the admiration of people like yourself, and that's why we're so glad to be able to do things like do gift giveaways today on the show. By the end of the show, we will. And you've already unlocked the bonus content. So I think we're only now, let's see, we hit, because L-Dubs did 20 and that was 50, 60, 70. So really we're only $30 left, I think, to unlock the bonus. But then Frank and Beans gave 6. So it's actually 20 Frank and Beans did a $10 donation, so we're only $20 more left till we hit the $100.
I love weenies and beans, by the way. Oh my God.
Frank and Beans.
Kosher hot dogs.
Oh, you mean like actual?
Oh, yes.
She does. She's into the Jewish Franks, if you know what I mean. Not that, but I mean.
No.
How dare you?
We're gonna have our buddy Neil Stroherick join us in less than 10 minutes to talk about Mark Cuban.
All right. We did it. She stayed quiet. Ooh.
Frank and Beans. She did. She stayed quiet. So.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about the tweets.
Oh, we've got a few minutes left. You guys want to do the tweets? Let's do the tweets. Okay.
Let's talk about the tweets.
And BuzzFeed's obviously a lefty news site, so a lot of this stuff is going to be not just dunks on leftists, but also dunks on right-wingers. In fact, quite a few of them. But if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. We like to laugh. Here are the 50 most hilarious political tweets according to BuzzFeed. Kamala is better than me because I would have walked out on the stage with this printed on my shirt, Donald Trump's mugshot. What?
Our Thug Life shirt.
Actually, that's really good.
Yeah, she should have walked out with her Thug Life shirt. That actually would have been epic, and Trump probably would have liked it.
That's
He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty cool, aren't I?
Yes. Right into the subtitle Hall of Fame, J.D. Vance. So whoever wrote the subtitles for C-SPAN that day said single person clapping. So whoever...
So it was probably like, just like one slow clap.
No. If they did not use automatic AI to do that, then whoever is there at C-SPAN 2 for that video that day is editorializing.
Oh, of course.
Yes, they're offering their opinion.
Unless it's a unmarried person clapping.
Right.
It could be a truly single.
I highly doubt that there was one single person clapping for J.D. Vance, but it is funny. Right into the subtitle Hall of Fame. Next tweet. Why does Trump always sound like he's playing Cards Against Humanity? Or more like a Mad Lib. They're doing blank on blank who are blank. They're doing transgender operations on illegal aliens who are in prison. Well, that's actually...
They're killing the cats. They're killing the dogs.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Wait, Kamala sounds like she's also playing apples to apples. Because of how she says all of her sentences.
Like Trump was actually clowning on her at one point about that. He's like, she says the bus goes here and then the bus goes over there. Yes. But the
bus is everywhere.
Yes. But they are doing transgender operations on illegal aliens in prison, by the way.
It's true.
Yes. J.D. Vance's firstborn child born out of the couch, like Danny DeVito, a greasy couch baby.
I'm confused by that.
So you don't know the couch story?
No.
So the liberals took a quote out of J.D. Vance's book out of context, and they made it sound as if he was attracted to the couch itself, like he was like attracted in a romantic
people
way.
That are attracted to objects, like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. Yes. So then with Danny DeVito bursting out of the couch like that, naked and greasy, it's the joke of J.D. Vance's firstborn child coming out of the couch, which it really isn't that funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there really are people who... there was someone who was attracted to a car and they got married to their car.
This one I can identify with, where I don't care if you're pro, anti, whatever. Somebody tweeted, Kalmia Harris is a witch. And they spelled it Kalmia, and then witch, they spelled Which.
Which is which?
They're all in plain black. I think I'm seeing double.
Those are the people that are voting right there.
See, that's the next post, is that it says, no way your vote counts as much as mine.
I know. No, it's terrible.
No. Yeah, it is. Their vote counts as much as yours.
But they're thinking badly about Kamala Harris, though. Kamala Harris is a witch. That's what they said. So maybe they're voting for Trump.
Yeah.
So should that person be able to vote for Trump? I guess so.
Yeah. So in a group chat, somebody says, holy shit, Biden out. And then Kenneth says, what? And then somebody else says, as gay?
I could see it. You know, he likes smelling hair.
He likes sniffing little girls.
So he might be something else, not
These
gay.
Democrats like it both ways. They're all bi. Trump saying he doesn't want pronouns after an interview, tells him Kamala has she, her in her bio, and the interviewer responding with, so you're fluid, is the funniest effing thing I've ever heard. It's not the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Oh my God. I wonder if that person was really serious too. I feel like, oh, are you
Probably.
fluid?
Trump's makeup being darker than Kamala's is truly sending me. I'm sorry.
He was very dark and very orange at the last debate.
Dark orange, burnt orange.
Yeah. I wonder what he uses. Does he use the tanning towels or spray tan? I mean, tanning bed?
It's some kind of spray tan, right?
Oh, it's terrible. They need to change the shade of it.
Yeah. Are those coconut trees next to the pink White House when Harris takes over?
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist.
Okay, I can first.
Kamala Harris will make coconut trees great again. MAGA says Kamala Harris never birthed any children. Me, just like the 46 presidents before her. Ooh.
Oh, dang. That's like a feminist kind of comment right there.
But it's, I mean, it's true. Like when I think about everything you had to go through as childbirth and stuff like that, I'm like, Steph, glad it's not me, glad it's not me.
Yeah. It literally is trauma to the body, I have learned.
It is, yes. If you have these light fixtures, you do not need to worry about Kamala's capital gains tax. So
that means you're too old.
It means you're too poor.
Oh, I thought it meant that you're old because they're like from the 90s.
No. It means you're poor.
Oh, gosh. I totally misinterpreted that one.
That's a lie.
Oops.
Frankenbean76, he's just showering us with coins.
Making it rain.
He says, here you go. Enjoy being able to help those who truly deserve it. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Frankenbeans. We appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
Yes.
Big love. Big love. Steffi, blow him a kiss.
Oh.
She loves Frankenbeans, like literally and
I'm hungry.
Figuratively.
We do have some hot dogs in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Michelle Obama 2016. When they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama 2024. Fuck that.
I can see Michelle Obama winning. If she were running now, she would totally win. Absolutely.
Imagine explaining these two trending topics to Abraham Lincoln. They're eating the dogs and execute the baby. Can you imagine? 7 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Haitians fought a war of independence.
I mean, the founding fathers, if they were like, they're eating the dogs, they probably would have gone out there with their rifles and shot the people.
Yes, here we have a leftist who is climbing a coconut tree saying, Madam Vice President, we are ready to help. Good. Let's get in the coconuts.
I don't know.
Coconut trees like a real thing?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
What?
Coconut tree?
Coconut tree?
Coconut trees are palm trees, right? It's the same thing? A coconut tree, a palm tree?
I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer to that.
Okay.
Because I don't. This is,
coconuts grow on palm trees.
Yeah, Stephanie, we were having so much fun, Stephanie.
Yeah.
We almost forgot. We got to go get Neil.
Oh, it's already time?
Yeah, it's time.
Oh my goodness.
We got to go get Neil Struharic. He is for Freedom Family Friday. Don't go away. We got bonus content for you. You just unlocked, and you got bonus baby. So I'm going to go
you got the bonus baby?
the bonus baby thanks to Frank and Bean.
Oh my goodness.
So now we're going to go and turn on the baby cam. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Don't go away. We got prizes to give away.
Whoa.
For unlocking today's bonus content. Our 4 Liberty Network launch has been fully monetized thanks to the financial support of your Unlocking These Daily mini documentaries. Today we look at how the AI boom is raising hopes of a nuclear comeback. Microsoft's deal to bring back a 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor is just one part of big tech's quid pro quo with nuclear power. For 5 years, Reactor 1 at 3 Mile Island Nuclear Power Station in Pennsylvania has lain dormant. Now, thanks to a deal with Microsoft, the reactor will start running again in 2028, this time to exclusively supply the tech firm with oodles of low-carbon electricity. It's all part of an ongoing flirtation between big tech and nuclear power. In March, Amazon Web Services agreed to buy a data center powered by Susquehanna Nuclear Power Station in Pennsylvania. At an event at Carnegie Mellon University on September 18th, Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai mentioned small modular nuclear reactors as one potential source of energy for data centers. The links don't stop there either. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman chairs the boards of nuclear startups Oklo and Helion Energy. The AI boom has left technology companies scrambling for low-carbon sources of energy to power their data centers. The International Energy Agency estimates that electricity demand from AI, data centers, and crypto could more than double by 2026. Even its lowball estimates say that the added demand will be equivalent to all the electricity used in Sweden or, in the high-usage case, Germany. This surge in energy demand is music to the ears of the nuclear power industry. Electricity demand in the US has been fairly flat for decades, but the sheer scale and intensity of the AI boom is changing that dynamic. One December 2023 report from a power industry consultancy declared the era of flat power demand over, thanks to growing demand from data centers and industrial facilities. The report forecasts that peak electricity demand in the US will grow by 38 gigawatts by 2028, roughly equivalent to 46 times the output of Reactor 1 at 3 Mile Island. AI is really taking off, and it's garnering a lot of attention in the energy industry, says John Kotek, Senior Vice President for Policy Development and Public Affairs at Nuclear Industry Trade Association, the Nuclear Energy Institute. Kotek says there's also a national security angle. People legitimately see AI as a field of competition between the US and our global competitors. The US falling behind in the AI race because it doesn't have enough power is something that's really causing people to focus attention, he says. Nuclear power is attractive to tech companies because it provides low-carbon electricity round the clock, unlike solar and wind, which run intermittently unless coupled with a form of energy storage. Reactivating Reactor 1 will provide Microsoft with 835 megawatts of low-carbon energy over the 20 years that the deal will run for. Since Microsoft has pledged to be carbon negative by 2030, spiraling electricity demand from AI poses a major threat to the firm's climate plans unless it can find sources of low-carbon power. In 2023, Microsoft's emissions increased by 29% compared with 2020, primarily driven by the construction of new data centers. 3 Mile Island Nuclear Power Station has 2 reactors. The second reactor was infamously the site of a partial meltdown in 1979, and it has remained out of action ever since. But Reactor 1 kept on chugging away without incident until 2019, when it was taken offline for financial reasons, mainly due to competition from gas and wind-powered electricity. Kotek says there are relatively few idle reactors that could also be brought back online fairly quickly, but that a lot of power plant owners are interested in extending their operating licenses of their existing plants to try and ride the AI power wave. Part of the enthusiasm from power plant operators is due to government incentives to keep low-carbon power online. The Inflation Reduction Act includes tax credits tied to electricity production at existing nuclear power plants, but Kotek says that the industry will also have to get busy building new reactors if it wants to capture that projected energy demand. The number of operating nuclear reactors in the US peaked at 112 in 1990 and declined to 92 by 2022. And the most recently built reactors in the US, at Vogtle Power Plant in Georgia, took more than 14 years to build and came in at more than double the expected budget. The US showed at Vogtle that we're not very good at building plants, says Todd Allen, Chair of Nuclear Engineering and Radiological Sciences at University of Michigan. But Allen points out that China seems to build nuclear power plants much more quickly than the US, so speeding up is possible, and that if energy demand from data centers continues to grow, then building entirely new plants will increasingly look like an attractive option. These potentially lengthy timescales are part of the reason why Microsoft is interested in small modular reactors, which should be quicker and cheaper to build. But tech firms have tended to emphasize searching for new sources of energy rather than improving the efficiency of their artificial intelligence operations, says Sasha Lucioni, AI and climate leader at Hugging Face, a company that develops tools for building applications using machine learning. Regulation could be one way to incentivize great efficiency, starting with mandatory reporting and transparency for companies providing AI tools and services, she says. At the Carnegie Mellon University event, Pichai said that work on improving the consumption side of AI's energy usage was still in its early phases. We are all inefficiently pre-training these models, absolutely, he said, but added that inference, actually asking an AI model to perform a task, could become dramatically more efficient over time. Google's emissions in 2023 were 48% higher than their 2019 baseline, primarily due to increases in data center energy consumption and supply chain emissions, putting Google's goal to reach net zero emissions by 2030 increasingly under threat. The energy demands of AI are rising right now, says Lucioni, but the renewable or low-carbon energy to fuel AI isn't keeping pace quickly enough. For some, the prospect of the site of the US's most notorious nuclear disaster being used to power the AI revolution might sit uneasily. But Allen points out that Reactor 1 did not shut down because of operational issues. Restarting the reactor, he says, will mostly be a question of making sure it is still in good operating condition and that there are enough trained staff to run it smoothly.
And we're back. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Did you see the bonus baby that you guys unlocked? Thank you so much. Look at that beautiful little redheaded girl having a delicious bottle. 2 redheaded girls. Aren't I so lucky? 2 smoking hot redheaded libertarian girls in my life. I'm a very lucky man. The Wake Up America show is brought to you by viewers and listeners just like you. Clicking that like button and following the channel. Come back and join us every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a lot of fun. Fridays is Freedom Family Fridays, and we have more fun than usual. Typically, Justin Peterson joins us in this time slot. He's not here today. He's fine. He's just a busy man, and I don't pay him to come on the show. So he's got to be a man and take care of his affairs. But Freedom Family Friday requires just something special. There's a certain je ne sais quoi about the type of guest that you would put on Freedom Family Friday. It has to be somebody really special. And my next guest is that. He is a restaurant owner from St. Louis, co-owner of the famous Tucker's line of steakhouses, famous for their delicious steaks, their great pizza, incredible prices. And the co-owner, Neil Struharic, has also incredible taste in candidates, political candidates, and friends. He's joining us live right now. Neil Struharic. Good morning, Neil.
Morning, Austin. It's great to be here. How you doing, buddy?
Great. Neil, it's your first time on the show. Let's just kind of set up the audience a little bit more about who you are. I mean, you're kind of the most interesting man in the world to a certain extent, right? You're a restaurant guy in St. Louis. It's a difficult business. Everybody knows the restaurant industry knows that's a difficult business. I can't imagine what you must have gone through in the COVID-19 years back in 2020.
It was a rough time.
I mean, I was there with you, kind of like supporting you as much as I could from Jefferson City, but those were dark days. But you also have a really interesting degree. What's your degree in?
Religious history, theology, philosophy. I kind of always took a interest in that. Well, since I was like in my mid-teens, my grandmother passed away. You go through kind of like a dark night of the soul sort of thing. And I mean, while my major's actually in business, I do have a background in those subjects because really, I mean, to me, can't make money in that sort of field. But at the end of the day, I think the answer to those kind of existential questions are kind of the most interesting ones. And if not, probably the most important ones to know the answers to.
You completely agree. And I'm fine with going down those kinds of rabbit holes on the Wake Up America show, and certainly we may do so. However, this morning, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the news that's coming out. Specifically, I'm laughing at this video clip, and I'm going to play the audio for you. It's the first time I've ever tried to do this, Neil, and I'm doing it live. So give me just a moment here to try and get it right. So participants, I'm trying to add the audio version for you. Again, first time I've ever done this. As a matter of fact, Neil, can you hold on just one moment? We're going to go on standby, and we'll be back we'll be back in 60 seconds, and we'll do the clips. Hold on just one moment, please. Thank you for your patience. All right, we've solved a major technical problem that I've had for the Wake Up America shows since its inception. And we did that live. Thank you, Neil, for sticking around. Here is the audio clip of Mark Cuban on the 2024 election. Take a listen.
Spite of that, meaning the mainstream media is not who you think it is. The mainstream media truly leans right. Maybe. When you're second in command, you do what your boss tells you to do. He delegates authority to you.
But the border was supposed to be heard.
Let's pause for just a moment there. Neil, the mainstream media leans right. Your reaction?
Well, I mean, I think anybody with eyes and ears obviously knows that that's a crock of, well, I don't know if I can cuss on your show or
You
how
can
much it
just
is a family
use
show
sparingly,
after all.
use sparingly, but yes.
But I mean, you've got Fox News, and I'm not going to say that they're like completely free of propaganda or whatever, but you talk about ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, all the major networks, all the major news outlets, whether you're talking about like printed or on video, they all seem to be working for, when you say right and left wing, I think of it more like establishment. Like they're working for kind of the powers that be. They're all pushing the same sort of agenda. They all have the same narrative that they're pushing over and over. And you only have a couple outliers from there. And maybe it seems like more people are drawn to those outliers because there's just less of them. But I mean, obviously, Mark Cuban, I remember, it seems like when Trump first came on the scene, Mark Cuban was trying to paint himself as some sort of like your father's conservative, like your everyday conservative standing against, Trump is crazy, Trump is bad, like I know Trump, he's whatever. But since then, he's shown that he's really just kind of a puppet working for, I don't know whose favor he's trying to buy, who he thinks he's working for. He's already got his money. He doesn't have he doesn't have really any incentive to not be able to speak his own mind, but I don't really think he has his own thoughts on these. He's just kind of preaching the narrative that's been put before him as though he thinks it's scoring him some kind of points.
That's a really good take, Neil. And one of the things that I think it could be too is he's trying to curry favor with the incoming administration, right? Because he said things like, he should be the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is kind of a dangerous thing. If there's regulatory capture, that would be regulatory capture. They bring Mark Cuban in, and then he regulates industries that he's profiting from.
Well, I mean, like, put it into perspective, like who's trying to win favor. So the way I think most people know Mark Cuban is probably from Shark Tank. Obviously, he existed prior to that, but I don't think he was a household name until he was on Shark Tank. And at the end of the day, as a fan of that show, there's kind of two personalities that really jump out at everybody that everyone recognizes. One being Mark Cuban, and not that there's not a lot of validity and skill and talent to the other people, but the other one is Mr. Wonderful, what's his name, Kevin O'Leary. And Kevin O'Leary obviously has no qualms about having his own point of view and having a rational take on pretty much everything while still being able to be pragmatic. You can tell that he knows that as a businessman, he's going to have to work with whatever administration's in power, whatever people are in power, and he's not afraid to do that. But he's also not afraid to talk like a person with a thinking mind that can actually, kind of go through the process of developing, what kind of world we want to live in, what kind of business environment do we want to have, how do you run a business? Whereas Mark Cuban, on the other hand, the kind of things that he says don't even apply to his own businesses that he's running in. If he's such like a big fan of DEI policies and whatnot, why isn't he hiring a more diverse group of people to play for the Mavericks?
Good point, Neil. Damn, driving it home. Speaking of Neil Struharic, he is a business owner here in the state of Missouri, the famous Tucker's line of steakhouses. Love it. Every time I eat there, I am so happy because it's not only the highest quality food you can get in St. Louis, but the prices are amazing and the portions are huge. So make sure you visit Tucker's Steakhouse if you're in the St. Louis area. And Neil and I are talking a little bit about Mark Cuban, the possibility of him taking a role in the Kamala Harris administration, and some of the things that he has been saying, such as, take a listen.
When she was unable to answer the question about are you better off now than 4 years ago, I think that was illustrative.
Well, 4 years ago, literally, we're in a pandemic. It was an easy answer.
We can look at exactly what happened. He's already been president. And we can look at what happened when she was vice president. And it's not good, the comparison.
Being the president, Joe, as you know, is different than being vice president. It's not close, right?
So she can take credit for the good things that happened with Biden, but she didn't have anything to do with the bad things.
Trump.
When she...
Your reaction to that?
This is another instance of he's just talking himself in circles because he knows that the answers aren't going to be, what narrative that he thinks that, the powers that be want him to push. he's going to talk himself into a corner rather than taking a stand. I mean, this is a guy that's got no testosterone, no balls. He's literally just coasting along, trying to sit on the middle without rocking the boat one way or another. You can see that come through with, I mean, every I would say word, if you can call those words, coming out of his mouth.
Let's continue.
Yeah, but it's still the same thing. It's his policies. What he said to her was, you go down and you use diplomacy to try to improve, to try to reduce the flow, the migration of people across the border, right? And when they finally came around, and it took too long, I agree, but when they finally got there, now look at the results. It didn't take a wall, but yet the crossing numbers are where Trump's were when pre-pandemic, at the same number. So it worked. So what she did actually worked.
You think that Kamala Harris is credible when it comes to border issues like Cuban seems to imply?
I don't think anybody thinks that. I don't think it matters even what side of the aisle you're on. You have to be living in some kind of like upside down world of cognitive dissonance to be able to possibly think that the border crossing and immigration situation today is anywhere close to what it was a few years ago. And don't get me wrong, I've always been an advocate for, a very healthy immigration policy where we can have as many people come in, especially from the perspective of a business owner. I would like, more people to be able to come and fill jobs, especially after going through the pandemic and seeing the labor shortages and whatnot are going on. But we're in a situation now where, I can tell in my own area every, couple months or whatever, when a new caravan or whatever of immigrants have just been bussed in or shuttled in, because they show up at my door, they're asking for work. None of them speak English. A lot of them are from Central American countries. Some of them are from Middle Eastern countries. Most of the ones that come from Middle Eastern countries, whatever English they speak, they manage to tell me that they only want to work if they're paid for cash, because they know about their status. And it's to say that she's done any sort of job on immigration, or I don't know what kind of numbers they're pulling up to try and insist that it's at the same as it was while Trump was president. It's nonsense. There's no way any rational thinking person can possibly agree with that.
Let's let him continue, see what he says.
We can look at exactly what happened. He's already been president, and we can look at what happened when she was vice president, and it's not good. The comparison.
Being the president, Joe, as you know, is different than being vice president. It's not close, right?
So she can take credit for the good things that happened with Biden.
I would buy this argument, Neil, like the vice president doesn't have any authority, if Biden hadn't just last week said that he delegated authority to her on matters of foreign policy to try and lend her the credibility. Now, this was just yesterday from The View. He did an interview with the cackling harpies of The View. And he says that he delegated authority to her. So he's right that the interview there is saying that she wants to take credit for all the good stuff, but none of the bad stuff. I mean, her whole campaign rhetoric right now, Neil, has been elect me and I'll fix the problems that I create.
Yes, obviously all the problems that existed over the last 4 years are still Trump's fault. So can't let him back in, or otherwise those problems will continue. And anything that's good has been not Joe Biden. Joe Biden hasn't been doing it. It's been because he delegated all that to her, and Kamala Harris is really the hero.
Absolutely.
So, they can play on that all they want. But like I said, I don't think anybody really buys it. She's been, not only was she out of the spotlight until Joe Biden, it was apparent that he was basically a walking corpse. But she was terribly disliked. She had the lowest approval ratings of any vice president, as far as I'm aware, in history. She won 0 delegates while in the time that she was running for president. She won 0 votes during the entire primary. And, they talk about who's responsible for being a threat for democracy when the entire Democratic Party is running a non-democratically elected candidate at this exact moment versus a duly nominated candidate that, for all intent, I don't want to go too far down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but it seems to me like they're very intent on making sure that he's dead. So what's the threat to democracy there?
Good morning. And nice to see our new friend Angelica Dream joining us over live in the Rumble chat. Good morning, Angelica. And she says she has a meeting, but she's going to watch later. This is a good episode. I'm glad you're liking it. And if you're wondering who that little pink with redheaded baby is that you see on the screen, that's my sweet little Hazel Rose Peterson and my beautiful smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie Peterson, who's there. Give us a little wave if you can, Stephanie. Show us the baby. Yes. And Fridays are Freedom Family Fridays, when I bring my beautiful family onto the show and I bring guests on that are essentially family, honorary Petersons, Neil Struheric being one, joining us live right now. You're getting the best content, the best guests, and you get a cute little baby. And so you don't really get any better shows than the Wake Up America show, especially on Fridays. Now, I do owe a debt of gratitude to Neil Struheric for being on Rumble at all, because honestly, man, I would have been actually in big trouble if I hadn't listened to Neil. Neil, you're a big Rumble guy. You watch it on your big screen TV, and you said, Austin, you need to be on Rumble. And then all this happened, all these wonderful things.
Yeah, I could see the writing on the wall with Google and Facebook. Obviously, YouTube was kind of your bread and butter for a long time, but, being a person that I don't really, basically, I haven't subscribed to cable since Fox News got rid of Tucker Carlson, which ended up being a good thing for him in a strange kind of way. But basically what I watch on my TV are, streaming videos, YouTube videos, and now Rumble videos. And most of my favorite content creators on YouTube obviously have been either completely deplatformed or censored or had demonetized or whatever. I could see the writing on the wall at that point. And I'm always looking for alternative venues to watch where I can support and actually, have the peace of mind that I'm supporting a good company. Rumble being one of those. And I could see them coming up. So at the time you were going through all the ups and downs of navigating YouTube, and I was like, hey, this new platform, Rumble, and it sounds like they've been a wonderful partner for you. I couldn't be happier for the success that you and your family have had with the show, and still a big supporter of Rumble today, an investor in Rumble, and I see and hope for bright things in the future for Rumble.
Yeah, thank you, Neil Struheric, for that tip. And it was perfect timing. I had just started to build up on Rumble, and then YouTube decimated my finances and demonetized me. I had all of these monthly subscriptions, and they went away. And it's like, that is devastating. It's like losing your job to a certain extent. And thankfully, Rumble saw what happened when I complained about it publicly. They reached out to me directly. And ever since then, back and forth, I send them emails. They promote the show. They put it out up to introduce us to new names and faces. Some of the people watching us live right now found us because Rumble decided to feature us on the front page. So we owe them a big debt of gratitude. And now, I don't know if you've heard, Neil, maybe you did, but I know you don't do social media a whole lot. But we've been featured. We've not featured. We've actually gotten
X.
On X. We've been getting hitting number one sometimes. Little brief periods.
That's great. Yeah. No, I mean, since Elon Musk brought Twitter, at first it seemed kind of rocky what was going on with X, but I really have extremely high aspirations that it's going to turn out to be what he originally said he wanted it to be, the everything app. And I know they just started the beta for their digital video platform that's available on, I don't know if it's on Roku yet, but it's on like some formats. I think maybe Amazon Fire Sticks or whatever. I have it on my Sony Smart TV or whatever, and it seems like that'll be a good competitor against YouTube as well.
For sure.
Of course, in the free market, you want as much competition as possible to drive growth and to make everything better. So I don't think that I think honestly, at this point, pretty much everything Elon touches is gold. So
yeah. And I mean, we don't really make much money on X. Like, I just do it over there. Like, it's good to hit number one, but the audience, like you said, it's not the perfect way to capture audience and to essentially monetize your audience. So like, it's great to be number one on X, but it's better to be number one on Rumble, because that's where like you can actually make money. And X is right now, it doesn't matter if you're number one on X over a few days. You're not going to get monetization, like more money for that. But my hope is that will change, and that a year from now, the Wake Up America show that you're watching right now, everybody, if it's number one on X, that will mean like hopefully a bounty. There'll be ways to really fully monetize the show through X. And Rumble is helping us to stream to multiple platforms with their new studio, which also gives us campaigns. I can do live ad reads through Rumble. So I mean, the technology is developing, and it's making what I'm doing more and more viable as every year goes by, which is very exciting.
That's great. And I think that what you're talking about with monetization on X probably is something in the future. It seems like Musk is really open to trying to expand it and make it a happy place for marketing, for investors, for people that want to be able to make money on the platform.
Absolutely. Steelbringer over in the chat says, I'm not surprised by Mark Cuban. Only patriots will risk their own fortunes on liberty. The old Hillel quote rings true. Thank you for the Rumble Rant donation for that, Steelbringer. Hey, speaking of liberty and living free, here is the current president of the United States yesterday talking about one of our most important and essential and basic constitutional rights. Take a listen, Neil.
Oh, boy.
I taught constitutional law for years, constitutional law. Never was the Second Amendment meant to be absolute. Back when it was passed, you could not own a cannon. No, I'm not joking. People like the liberty of Americans is water with the blood of patriots. Like hell. I'm serious. Think about it. Think about it. It was never absolute. Never, 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 never. It's time we increase funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
So he's just casually shitting on Thomas Jefferson.
I'm pretty sure you could own a cannon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was. Yeah. If you weren't listening earlier, I was telling Stephanie about the private mercenaries they hired with cannons on their ships to fight the British during the war.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you still can own a cannon. Actually, I wouldn't mind having a cannon now that he brings it up. Birthday present ideas, Austin. Birthday present ideas.
Yes. Are you hearing that applause as well as the clips, Neil?
Yes.
Are you hearing so you can hear everything. Hold on one second, real quick.
You're working. You're firing on all pistons, brother.
There we go.
Bow to your sensei.
I don't think that the assault on the Second Amendment is obviously Biden was kind of portrayed as some sort of moderate, at least during his run during 2020, if you can call it that. I think everyone remembers he was basically in the basement the entire time. But there's no reason to think that there's anyone on what Kamala Harris is now saying that her and Tim Walz are gun owners. I heard she recently said that in an interview.
Yeah,
I'd like
she's
to
a
see
gun
their
owner.
gun collection. Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
what
they
kind?
just like give me some of the stats. What's I think that they're pandering, but basically that's all they can do at this point. I think that they see that the momentum for everything seems to be like it's going on the right. And once again, I hate to go down conspiracy theorist holes, but as time goes on, my perspective of what happened in the 2020 election becomes a lot more skewed onto the idea that there was some tomfoolery happening, and I'm sure that they're not above doing that in this next election. And pandering is about the only option they can have, because it seems to me like the general consensus is things are worse now than they were 4 years ago. People do vote with their pocketbooks. People vote for something different, for change. And most of the major issues are things that tend to favor Trump, whether you're talking about the economy or immigration, crime statistics, whatever. So all they can really do is pander to, these kind of general notions of like, well, if safety is an issue, then we need to get rid of the parts of the Second Amendment that are scary, without even addressing what that actually means. Like, what do they mean when they're talking about semi-automatic weapons and stuff? You and I know what they're talking about, but the general populace doesn't even know what that means.
Here's what
they're
Kamala
pandering.
Here's what Kamala Harris said about it. Listen to this.
Yeah.
It is a false choice to suggest you are either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I am in favor of the Second Amendment, and I believe we need to reinstate the assault weapons ban.
Your take?
Well, assault weapons. What do you call assault weapons? Most of the guns that I would use for hunting would be considered an assault weapon. Any kind of semi-automatic weapon they consider assault weapon, which the average handgun is semi-automatic. Unless you're buying a revolver or a flintlock pistol or something like that, you're generally dealing with what they're going to try and pin as assault weapons. So they're talking about.
Wait until they hear about my World War II battle rifle that I own. Ooh, scary.
Oh, man.
They're going to come for my battle rifle.
Well, technically, it's for assault.
It is, yeah. It's considered it's classified as a battle rifle because it was used to battle.
Right, but there's, like I said, they're pandering to the notions of fear of basically a populace that a lot of people don't even know what the words that they're using are attributing to, like what is an assault rifle. People look at AR-15. Obviously, you and I know AR is Armalite rifle, but they think that means it's actually called an assault rifle. Like, what are you talking about? And they're not afraid to come after. They're literally talking about a mandatory buyback, which means seizing the assets and property of hundreds and hundreds, well, I guess millions and millions of people all over the country. I don't think anyone will stand for it. That's just a messy notion. Maybe they'll go for that kind of stuff in Australia, but I don't think red-blooded Americans in the middle of the country.
Neil Struerick, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live. We're tied for third place right now over on X.com. And it's nice to see that we have so many thousands of people joining us over on that platform. Good morning, Neil. Everybody's asking for your X handle. Is it NT Struerick?
Yes, that is me, NT Struerick.
Yes, but don't get too excited because Neil doesn't drop us nearly enough spicy tweets.
I should be more active. Honestly, yes. I didn't have any social media for several years. I think somewhere around the Kavanaugh hearings. Back during the Trump administration, I was like, this is too much garbage going on. And I basically deleted everything. I only got back on X because Elon Musk bought it. I'm glad I did too. It's turned out to be a much more probably the most important platform that exists at this point in time. When the Trump assassination attempt happened, the first one, I would venture to say that had it not been for Twitter, no one would have really had any idea what was going on.
Neil, before Kamala Harris said she believed in the Second Amendment, but she had this to say.
Adding to your gun control agenda?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said, my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
Adding to your gun control agenda, what we need is action. She will use executive action against guns. Neil, your thoughts?
Well, thankfully, I think that we have at least a handful of good governors in some states in America that are willing to say that they're not going to allow such federal action to take place in their states. And I have no doubt that if Kamala Harris was elected, that she would have the gumption to try and pass some sort of such elective action. I don't think that Congress would allow it to go through. But then at the end of the day, I was talking about, their willingness to pull out all the stops in the election. Who knows how far that'll go? And they obviously have every incentive to try and keep a permanent majority at risk of no ends. I mean, they're literally willing to flood the borders to increase the census so that they can have more seats, so that they can take more control at the expense of the safety of every single American citizen. I don't think that there's any reason why they would be unwilling to cheat at every corner on the election to try and make sure that they have that kind of majority. Could they pass something like that? I mean, thankfully I think it's possible, but thankfully we still have control over the Supreme Court. Of course, they could try and take executive action to try and change that at some point. Really, I mean, there's no saying how far the ends of this whole thing go. If Kamala and the rest of her people are able to get into office, I see a dark future.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. Glad to have you here. If you haven't already, I have to remind you, click the like button. Makes a big difference. Help us to get out into other people's feeds. If you're on X, the heart button is great, but a repost is better. If you're on Rumble, the follow button underneath the video is a way to make sure that you get updates when we go live, which is every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. Come back and join us Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. We'll be grateful to have you be a regular guest. Hey, did you go see Matt Walsh's new movie, Am I Racist? Did you happen to catch that one, Neil?
I did.
Oh, okay. So
Weekend, yes.
I want to get your take on it, but here, let's just play a clip real quick, and we'll use that to segue.
What's up with white people?
Where do we start?
Maybe reframe the question a little bit. What's wrong with white people?
A lot of it has to do with cognitive dissonance, which allows white people to feel okay about what happened. There's actually a lot of studies on Nazi doctors and how they were able to live with themselves, and it's not that much different than white Americans or white people around the world, right? It's this splitting of the self. And so you have this part of you that knows that they did wrong, the shadow self, and that you have to split that, and you have the other self that's like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. Racism? Why are you blaming me for what my ancestors did? It's not my fault.
Is racism inherent to whiteness?
I would say so. I would say that we need to abolish whiteness. It's always been rooted in othering the other people who don't fit into whiteness. But when we look at white culture, the only thing about white culture is buying things and stealing things.
How do I...
That's kind of an ironic statement there coming from a black woman. Neil, how was the movie?
It was hilarious. The audience involvement in it was incredible. Everybody in the theater was roaring, laughing, and it was a different take than I honestly expected going into it, because I thought that they would really be trying to drive home a point, that he would be kind of posturing in a way. But really, he's not trying to make any kind of argument. He's just letting the people that he's talking to, the people that he's interviewing, make their own argument. And it's so outrageous and so silly, it just falls flat on its face without him having to do anything at all, which is actually what makes it kind of a brilliant movie in its own way.
Yeah, no, I think that that Matt Walsh does some good work. And when he's doing this, I think he really is at his best. In regards to his views on, conservatism versus libertarianism, obviously we might have some disagreements, but it's amazing that all you really have to do is get these people to sit down and ask them the right questions for their entire worldview to be unraveled. It's amazing what Socratic questioning can do to destroy someone's entire worldview. And it just goes to show what a house of cards the left has built for themselves ideologically, correct?
Absolutely. And not only that, and their ability to talk themselves into circles without even being prompted to do anything, then answer the questions that their own questions impose, the circular reasoning that they kind of have. But what you're talking about, Matt Walsh and not necessarily agreeing about some of his conservative versus libertarian policies kind of shows how on the left, while there's such a strict regimen of what you have to do to fall in line to be a good player on the left. On the right, we have such a big umbrella of different people, of different backgrounds, of different ideas that can all kind of agree on some very general things, that all of us can agree on the concepts of freedom of speech, of unity, of economic freedom, of where you have people on the left that people on the right even appreciate and tolerate, even though we don't share the same view. Like, I'm a big fan of Bill Maher. I don't agree with 90% of his opinions on anything, but I certainly appreciate the fact that he's very much in support of freedom of speech and very much against political correctness.
Yeah,
and
he's been good on that. He's been taking on the woke left.
Yeah. obviously the backbone of the entire movie that we're talking about in question, the anti-racist movie, comes down to political correctness and then trying to drive the narrative of political correctness onto people in such a way that we're automatically divided betwixt one another, where the framework for our thinking about each other is a message of division. You can't possibly unite a people, bring a people together, or have any sort of unity or even hospitality between people if your general concept of all of society is that we hate each other.
We just eclipsed number 3. We are now number 2 on X this morning in our category. For our live Wake Up America show, we're glad to have you here. If you're enjoying that content, please do click like and follow our channel. It is a 5-day-a-week show. The left uses identity politics to get themselves out of trouble. They want to be able to get away with committing crimes, bribery, extortion, scandals, and then fall back on the fact, oh, she's a black woman, she's Indian, she's this, she's that, so she can't be racist, she can't have committed a crime. But Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, might not be so lucky. Yesterday in a press conference, Neil, he decided to stand up and declare before God and all that he was standing strong. He's not resigning as mayor, despite the fact that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez even called for him to step down. But so he stands up in front of a crowd, Neil, in front of with all black people behind him, as if to make his corruption scandal something about his race, as if people going after him has something to do with his race. Well, there was a heckler in the audience, Neil, who decided they weren't going to let Eric Adams get away with it. Take a listen.
Your policies are anti-black. You are a disgrace to all black people in this city. The things that you have done are unconscionable. You hurt our schools. Our streets are dirty. Our children are harassed by the police. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You can shush me all you want, but the people are with us. And this is not a black day. This is a justice day.
First of all, I want to thank you.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Now I want the tar and feathers to come out. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the whole thing about the entire political correctness ideology. It's not really so much about how you should or shouldn't think. It's just a easy and convenient way to shut down anybody that tries to say anything you don't like. Their opinion's obviously invalid because they're racist or sexist or whatever ist you want to throw on at the end of the argument, because you don't really have valid points. In this case, the mayor doesn't have a leg to stand on as far as his defense. So all I can say is, well, all my protractors are obviously racist. So why listen to them? Look at me. I'm the good guy here. And people aren't going to buy that. That song and dance has been said and done for, since as long as I've been alive anyways. It's only become more prevalent in the last few years.
Neil, it's for them. It is their sword. It is their shield. And this is why they push so hard for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not just so that they can get themselves into a position of power and authority, but then once they're there, they want to be able to maintain their power and authority by being able to be racist against white people and to have an ideology of racism against white people. It's essentially the Black Israelites and Louis Farrakhan gone mainstream. Like, that's kind of what wokeism is, right? Where it's institutionalized leftist minority racism against the majority whites in this country in order to rob, rape, and steal and pillage not only our tax dollars through reparations, but to destroy and vandalize our culture through the destruction of our statues and the burning of our cities, as they did through Black Lives Matter in the riots of Minnesota in 2020, if you will remember. Am I off the mark in any way?
Well, I think that what it really comes down to is I don't know that any side, regardless of how crazy they are, is 100 really on the side of saying that we should burn down all the cities and whatnot. But what they are doing is trying to create a division through fear. They're trying to make everybody hate each other and realize that you have nothing in common with the other side. They think that you hate them. They think that you hate them, and the only solution that people see is violence. I mean, how do you can't negotiate or talk to another side, to a party that you think hates you, that thinks that you're a lesser thing than they are. So they try and create that sort of division, and they use these kind of words and these kind of tactics to make people think that there's no reason to even try and have common ground with the people on the opposite side of the aisle as you.
Neil, this has been incredible 47 minutes, and I got to give you applause because I know you were nervous, but you did amazing. And I love your point of view. Sometime we got to come on here and talk about religion with your theology background. I want to talk to you a little bit about things like Mormonism, and I want to talk to you about the Church of Scientology, and I want to have you back to talk about topics. I want to talk about Satanism and Luciferianism and Anton Szandor LaVey and all of those interesting things that you have a lot of knowledge on that we just don't have time to get into today.
I would love to do that. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is my first kind of delve into big screen stardom. You might say. I always felt I was more of a face for radio kind of guy, but it's been fun.
You're a handsome dude, and unless something has happened lately, you are single. Isn't that correct?
I am still not married. I am attached. I am dating a lovely lady, but
and how dare you not tell us?
How dare you?
I guess we'll have to talk about this in October. Bring her to Oktoberfest, Neil.
I don't want to break her heart out there.
Oh,
Oktoberfest, October 13th, right?
So it's Sunday, October 13th, the Liberty Crew getting together. Since we couldn't have a float trip this year because of the baby, now she is ready to rock. She can come out in public. We're going to party like it's 2024 at Herman,
Missouri.
Yes,
Yeah.
And if you have a lady and if for whatever reason she doesn't drink, maybe she can be your designated driver, because certainly that is how Steffi is for me. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can have a few marzipan. Neil, is there anything you want to share with our audience before we let you go, or is there anything you'd like to plug or share? I mean, you do have a line of delicious steakhouses in St. Louis. Maybe a plug for those.
I've never really thought about that, but yeah, Tucker's Place Steakhouse. If you like, if you're not a vegetarian and you are a fan of great red meat, we've won some of the most prestigious awards, best steakhouse in St. Louis for over the last 2 decades. But without tooting my own horn, I just want to say once again how proud I am of Austin, of what you're doing for you and your family and the Liberty Movement, and how awesome it is what's going on with Rumble, how thrilled I am that Elon Musk is being able to stand out for the name of freedom of speech and freedom of journalism. And I'm just excited to be a part of it today. So
there we go. And there's Steffi coming back on set for us for the final part of the show. Final countdown. Neil, NT Struharik over on the X's, Struharik, Struharik, NT Struharik. What's the T stand for?
Thomas.
Neil Thomas Struharik.
That's right.
We'll see you in Herman, Missouri, brother. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Neil.
There you go. That's Neil Struharik. We love him. He's a member of the Freedom Family Friday crew, now official. If you haven't already, click that like button. We'd love to have you be a regular guest of the Wake Up America show. Steffi, we're glad that you were able to come back. Beautiful girl.
Sorry I was kind of missing. I had to breastfeed her in the bathroom.
Oh, that's okay,
Sometimes
Steffi.
formula just doesn't sit as right in her stomach as breast milk does.
Yes, I'm glad that you decided not to breastfeed her in the studio, because I kept turning the camera on you guys over there. I was hoping that you weren't going to pop a boob out right there and just.
Oh no, I know better than that.
Yes,
I don't want to make millions of dollars just yet.
Exactly right. We make a lot more money, right? If we had that kind of content.
Hazel, you want to say hi?
Say hi, baby Hazel. Hello. There she is, my beautiful daughter. You're supporting freedom when you support the Wake Up America show. You're supporting a family of freedom fighters. We believe in economic freedom. We believe in your personal liberties. And 5 days a week, we produce 2 hours of live talk but there's a lot more that goes into it behind the scenes. It's like the duck that goes across the surface of the pond. It's beautiful and serene, and what you're seeing is this gorgeous production. But underneath, Stephanie and I are like flapping our little web feet like crazy to try and bring you the absolute best in Liberty Talk. And I think that we're accomplishing at that. We might be number one on X. We were number two just a second ago. Are we going to finish the show number one? I sure hope so.
We have to do a giveaway.
We're so close. Oh, you're right. We do have to do a giveaway. Okay,
and
let's pull
announce the new.
No, that's Monday.
Okay, well, not the new product?
No, not yet. We'll do that next week when we have the new product to sell, because people, when they hear about the new product, they're going to want to buy it right away.
Yes.
And it's not ready yet.
We're going to get it ready while Hazel naps.
Yes. So we are going to now pull up the list of all of our monthly subscribers.
There, now you guys can see your face.
Yes, so you guys and what we're going to give away today is a free t-shirt from the For Liberty shop of your choice.
Yay!
To our monthly subscribers.
It can even be Tiny Patriots t-shirts.
It can be whatever shirt you want from forlibertyshop.com, any size you want. And the winner of the free shirt from our monthly subscribers is, let's see, hold on. I got to pull up the list. Is Robbie George.
Oh, Robbie Thurman?
Yes, Robert Thurman. Yep.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations to Robert Thurman. Robbie, you are the winner. You know how to get in touch with me. Just hit me up with the address, the shirt that you want, where you want me to send it, the size that you want, any item over at forlibertyshop.com. Pick out a nice shirt, and congratulations, Robbie Thurman. And thank you for your monthly support of the For Liberty Network. Stephanie, it's time for us to say goodbye.
It went by so fast, per usual.
I know. We always had so much fun. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. And Steffi?
Be free.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to exit through the Grift Shop at forlibertyshop.com for all your sweet little patriotic merchandise needs. We got a Tiny Patriots collection, all kinds of delicious coffees, and more at forlibertyshop.com. We'll see you on Monday on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
Unlocking today's bonus content. Our For Liberty Network launch has been fully monetized thanks to the financial support of your Unlocking These Daily mini documentaries. Today we look at how the AI boom is raising hopes of a nuclear comeback. Microsoft's deal to bring back a 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor is just one part of big tech's quid pro quo with nuclear power. For 5 years, Reactor 1 at 3 Mile Island Nuclear Power Station in Pennsylvania has lain dormant. Now, thanks to a deal with Microsoft, the reactor will start running again in 2028, this time to exclusively supply the tech firm with oodles of low-carbon electricity. It's all part of an ongoing flirtation between big tech and nuclear power. In March, Amazon Web Services agreed to buy a data center powered by Susquehanna Nuclear Power Station in Pennsylvania. At an event at Carnegie Mellon University on September 18th, Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai mentioned small modular nuclear reactors as one potential source of energy for data centers. The links don't stop there either. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman chairs the boards of nuclear startups Oklo and Helion Energy. The AI boom has left technology companies scrambling for low-carbon sources of energy to power their data centers. The International Energy Agency estimates that electricity demand from AI, data centers, and crypto could more than double by 2026. Even its lowball estimates say that the added demand will be equivalent to all the electricity used in Sweden or, in the high-usage case, Germany. This surge in energy demand is music to the ears of the nuclear power industry. Electricity demand in the US has been fairly flat for decades, but the sheer scale and intensity of the AI boom is changing that dynamic. One December 2023 report from a power industry consultancy declared the era of flat power demand over, thanks to growing demand from data centers and industrial facilities. The report forecasts that peak electricity demand in the US will grow by 38 gigawatts by 2028, roughly equivalent to 46 times the output of Reactor 1 at 3 Mile Island. AI is really taking off, and it's garnering a lot of attention in the energy industry, says John Kotek, Senior Vice President for Policy Development and Public Affairs at Nuclear Industry Trade Association, the Nuclear Energy Institute. Kotek says there's also a national security angle. People legitimately see AI as a field of competition between the US and our global competitors. the US falling behind in the AI race because it doesn't have enough power, is something that's really causing people to focus attention, he says. Nuclear power is attractive to tech companies because it provides low-carbon electricity round the clock, unlike solar and wind, which run intermittently unless coupled with a form of energy storage. Reactivating Reactor 1 will provide Microsoft with 835 megawatts of low-carbon energy over the 20 years that the deal will run for. Since Microsoft has pledged to be carbon negative by 2030, spiraling electricity demand from AI poses a major threat to the firm's climate plans unless it can find sources of low-carbon power. In 2023, Microsoft's emissions increased by 29% compared with 2020, primarily driven by the construction of new data centers. 3 Mile Island Nuclear Power Station has 2 reactors. The second reactor was infamously the site of a partial meltdown in 1979, and it has remained out of action ever since. But Reactor 1 kept on chugging away without incident until 2019, when it was taken offline for financial reasons, mainly due to competition from gas and wind-powered electricity. Cotec says there are relatively few idle reactors that could also be brought back online fairly quickly, but that a lot of power plant owners are interested in extending their operating licenses of their existing plants to try and ride the AI power wave. Part of the enthusiasm from power plant operators is due to government incentives to keep low-carbon power online. The Inflation Reduction Act includes tax credits tied to electricity production at existing nuclear power plants, but Cotec says that the industry will also have to get busy building new reactors if it wants to capture that projected energy demand. The number of operating nuclear reactors in the U.S. peaked at 112 in 1990 and declined to 92 by 2022. And the most recently built reactors in the U.S., at Vogtle Power Plant in Georgia, took more than 14 years to build and came in at more than double the expected budget. The U.S. showed at Vogtle that we're not very good at building plants, says Todd Allen, chair of nuclear engineering and radiological sciences at University of Michigan. But Allen points out that China seems to build nuclear power plants much more quickly than the U.S., so speeding up is possible, and that if energy demand from data centers continues to grow, then building entirely new plants will increasingly look like an attractive option. These potentially lengthy timescales are part of the reason why Microsoft is interested in small modular reactors, which should be quicker and cheaper to build. But tech firms have tended to emphasize searching for new sources of energy rather than improving the efficiency of their artificial intelligence operations, says Sasha Lucioni, AI and climate leader at Hugging Face, a company that develops tools for building applications using machine learning. Regulation could be one way to incentivize great efficiency, starting with mandatory reporting and transparency for companies providing AI tools and services, she says. At the Carnegie Mellon University event, Pichai said that work on improving the consumption side of AI's energy usage was still in its early phases. We are all inefficiently pre-training these models, absolutely, he said, but added that inference, actually asking an AI model to perform a task, could become dramatically more efficient over time. Google's emissions in 2023 were 48% higher than their 2019 baseline, primarily due to increases in data center energy consumption and supply chain emissions, putting Google's goal to reach net zero emissions by 2030 increasingly under threat. The energy demands of AI are rising right now, says Lucioni, but the renewable or low-carbon energy to fuel AI isn't keeping pace quickly enough. For some, the prospect of the site of the U.S.'s most notorious nuclear disaster being used to power the AI revolution might sit uneasily. But Allen points out that Reactor 1 did not shut down because of operational issues. Restarting the reactor, he says, will mostly be a question of making sure it is still in good operating condition and that there are enough trained staff to run it smoothly.
Haunted by high prices and big government? Don't be a ghost of your former self this Halloween. We've got shirts that'll keep the ghouls and the government off your back. Inflation's scarier than any haunted house, but hey, why not turn it into a costume? Or how about our spooky government shirt? guaranteed to spook anyone who's afraid of too much power. But if you're feeling real edgy, nothing says Halloween like our Michael Myers No Lives Matter shirt. Cause when it comes to big government, we all get slashed. At 4libertyshop.com, we believe in freedom, not fear. So grab your libertarian Halloween gear before the government takes an extra bite out of your wallet. Or your candy. 4libertyshop.com. Let's make Halloween tax-free.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.